What's up, guys? You're watching Shawn with the Wild. I've got a ton of questions this week, mostly about the settler's wrench, so I'm going to try to answer those for you. Okay, so this little guy is making some racket. I know everybody kind of wants to know about production and cost, but first I just want to tell you a little bit where I come up with the idea. It's based on several different things, actually. One of them, the biggest problem being with cordage, how much is enough cordage? Because I know when I use cordage, I don't like to be conservative with it. I know you can use the 550 and it's got inner strands and everything like that, but I don't like to be conservative and cut off little pieces at a time and try using them, especially when it's cold outside. I just want to wrap it really good, get it good and tight, and go on. And when you do that, you run out of cordage, especially if you're doing anything big like this. Also, making cordage. I know how to make cordage. It takes a long time, and then when I get done, the cordage I've rendered is just not that good. So it's a big waste of my time. And I kind of wanted something that had infinite uses, where you could bind stuff together. The settler's wrench, calling it that name, I don't really know. It feels more wrenchy to me. It feels more like a ratchet to me than it does a auger. And I know the settlers didn't have wrenches, so I kind of thought that was pretty neat. And I knew if I wanted to get it into production, also when people Googled it or anything like that, I wanted it to be two unique words that normally wouldn't really go together. That way, when you Googled settler's wrench, pretty much guarantee that's about the only thing that's going to come up. Now, with that being said, it wasn't designed as a product, it wasn't designed as a way to make money. In the beginning, it was designed as a need. I needed a tool to do a job for me, and this is basically what I ended up coming up with. And I've had it now, been using it for about a year. This one, it was actually a model before this, but I've been using this one for about a year. And it wasn't until I used it about 3 or 4 months that I thought, hey, everybody needs one of these. For everyone asking me, make sure you send the patent in. Have you sent the patent in? Yes, I've sent in for a provisional patent. And what that's going to do is that's going to buy me 12 to 14 months before I actually have to fill out a formal patent application. That way it kind of protects it, basically for a year. That way I can pitch around the idea, maybe try to make some money off of it to cover what the patent actually cost. Now, it's very not likely that they're going to give me a full-blown patent on this thing. But if they did, that can be anywhere from, on up there by like $10,000. So, that just, by filing a provisional patent, that basically gives me a year to pitch around the idea, make some, run it by some companies or whatever. Now, production, I do have it scheduled on the books to start getting produced. There's actually a couple people in front of me, so that'll put it out like 3 months. But to be on the safe side, I was going to say, I'm saying spring to be on the safe side. But I got it made with the same people that made this one. Okay, another question is about costs. I don't know how much it's going to cost exactly, because that has to do with production, how much of a price break they give me on making quantity. I can give you a good idea about what this one cost. This top part here is a thick-walled stainless steel, and it runs about $40 a foot. So it's a foot. This is 2 inches long, so that would put about 6 of them in a foot. That breaks us down to about $6.66. Just this top piece. On the bottom, this is an Irwin bit, and I've actually talked to the Irwin company, but they won't manufacture direct, order me anything. So I pretty much are going to have to get these the same place that everybody else gets them. And if you look at them retail, they're anywhere between $9 and $11. So to be on the safe side, we'll just call it 10. This thing has to be machined. It has to be put in a machine shop lathe, and the inside's got to be bored out, and this taper has to be put on it. For a machine shop to run it through, just on this one, it cost me about $8. But now, doing a mass number, doing it in quantity, they're going to, of course, give me a price break. Then I also had to pay somebody to weld it. That was about $5. So and then the tax and everything added to that, you're looking at this one pretty much cost me around $31 or $32. And to get this one to you guys, I took it, had it weighed at the post office. It weighs 7 ounces, which is going to cost me $6 to send it. There's also going to, you got to send it in something. So we're going to say a package, a padded envelope at the very least is, that's going to be $1. And let's see what else. Tax, there'll be tax on it anytime you sell something. There's no way to avoid that. That's not even counting me putting any kind of profit on here at all. So, if I did say added $20 to that, that's going to put these, getting them out the door, just bare bones to get them to you guys, is going to put them about $60 a piece. Now there is a way you can make them cheaper. You can make them about half that if you send them off overseas somewhere and have them made. Which that's going to require you having a full patents license, which is going to take a while and it's going to take a lot of money. And it's also going to require about a 2-year waiting period where they develop it and everything like that. So you can get it done cheaper, but it's going to be a long time. And then when you get it back, I guarantee you're getting less quality than what this is. So for me, it would just be easier to make them, as many as I can at a time and get them out to you guys. Okay, now would be a good time to ask you guys a question. I mean, if you were getting these, do you want them bare bones to keep the price down? Or like this one, I thought about putting like a high visibility yellow, like gold yellow, that's kind of the theme throughout everything. The powder coat on here, that way if you laid it down in some leaves or something, you could find it. Also, you can, you get a nice sheath with this as well. And if we want to go on the high end of things, that's going to probably push it on up somewhere about $100. I mean, you guys know that the sheath, you guys that make sheaths or have had a sheath made for something, I mean, if you say it's a $20, $30 sheath, that's a pretty conservative answer. And when you look at the high-end cutlery in this particular market, like having a custom made knife, they go from anywhere from $300 to $500 to $700 sometimes. So do I think it's worth $100? Yeah, I actually do, because I've used it and I know what it can do. But I don't want to pass that on to you guys. I'd rather keep it on the low end, keep it bare bones. That way it'll allow me to turn out more of them. I'll be able to turn them out faster. If you guys want a sheath and you want, put some kind of high visibility paint on it, then you can do that yourself. So even at a $60 price point, I still have a few months, before they go into production. So I'm going to be searching for other things, a way to get that price to come down some more. Making them in quantity obviously is going to help get the price down, but I think it'll probably be just enough to like wash shipping, So if I made them just like this one, which I would like to, because I know this one works. I know it's durable, and I know it's strong, and I know it stays sharp a long time. But realistically, that might not be the case. But I'll make sure it's something good quality. You guys that are in the UK and Australia and stuff like that, I know there's a lot of you guys that want these things, and shipping on that, I think it's going to be like $10 or $11. So I don't mind doing it. But again, it's just one more thing it's gonna raise the price on up there. Speaking of cost of getting these things developed, I honestly lost count of how many people wanted one after about 1,000 or so, and I'm not Bill Gates or Richard Branson, so to make up say 5,000 of these things at $40 a piece or $35 a piece, I mean, you can do that math. That's not happening. What I most likely can do, when it comes to putting up my own money, I probably can do 100 or 200 of these things at a time, and then once I get them out to you guys, and if it turns over a profit, then I can make a little more and keep doubling it up every time, and either until that provisional patent runs out, or they deny me the other patent, or until I get all your guys' orders filled. That's basically, it wasn't designed to be a profit to me. It was designed to be a tool that you need, and I really think it can change everything, because it's going to change the way you build things. It's going to change the way you put things together. It's going to change your whole outlook on bushcraft and stuff. A lot of people have asked or recommended Kickstarter, and you know, it's an okay idea. That's a good way to get the funds to do a whole lot of them real quick. But I don't like being responsible for everybody's money that's paid up front, and then something happening in production or taking a longer time. You know, I don't want people to put money up front to get something that I'm unsure about until it even comes off the line. So, you know, I'll just do it the best I can myself, and I got a year to get them all out basically, even if I get denied the other patent. So that's just what I'm going to try to do. Okay, you can't really talk about its business side without talking about some of its uses. So let's do that. Let's just make something real quick. Okay, so you can use it pretty much on green wood or dry wood, softwood or hardwood. It doesn't have to be super sharp. I think I've sharpened this one time, and that was right when I got it, but it really wasn't necessary because the nature of stuff that you're going to be punching with it is already in a ring. So all that is really doing is a lot like an axe or something. It's basically separating it, you know, to kind of reveal the peg inside. So it's not really doing a whole lot of cutting. Like you could have two different axes that'll both cut the hair off of your arm, but one of them will split wood better than the other. And that has to do more with shape than it has to do with how sharp they are. And it has to do with how heavy they are, but that doesn't really apply here. Anyway, like I said, this one will do, you know, green wood or dry wood. Anytime you work with green wood, if you have worked with green wood, there's a shrink factor you gotta take into consideration. Like any other new tool, you know, it's got a little bit of a learning curve with it, but not much of one. So I like working with green wood just because it's easy to manipulate and it's easy to carve and it's soft and it'll flex. But like say, if you build a chair out of green wood, you know, that'd be good for like a camp use or a temporary use. And when I say temporary, I mean like 3 to 6 months. It'll probably still be good if it's sitting out in the weather. But over time, as that chair dries, all the joints are going to come loose and it's going to fall apart. So if you want something that's going to last you a long time, you know, go with dry wood right off the bat. And then it will last a long time. I made a green chair and I made a chair that's out of dry wood. And the dry wood, you know, now that I've kept it dry, it's still standing. And it actually took the green chair about 6 months to fall apart because I left it sitting out in the weather. And every time it would rain, it would get wet again and that wood would swell and hold the joints together. But each of them act a little bit differently. On the green stuff, you can drive this down in it and peel it like a banana. Peel the excess off like a banana. On the dry stuff, which this is a piece of dry wood, it'll tend to want to split more. Which either way is fine to me. I just need the peg in the middle. And you want to use something close to the same size. You know, you don't want to get in here with the, you know, like trying to put it in a stump and make a peg out of that. That's just not going to work. And so you could cut this stuff off, the serrated part of your knife, or peel it off. I just peel it off because you're trying to make quick stuff out here. It's trying to make your work a lot easier. You're not trying to make it pretty, or at least I'm not. And you know, there you go. You got your nice peg on there. And if you're not a real great bushcrafter, man, this thing's gonna change the way you build stuff. It's gonna make you a lot better bushcrafter. And if you're already a really good bushcrafter, consider yourself skilled or whatever, then this is gonna save you a lot of time. It's gonna save you a lot of cordage, and it's gonna save you from making cordage, which to me is a good thing. We're going to try to build something here that maybe not quite so obvious. You know, we know the obvious stuff you can do with it. You make stools, tables, chairs. I put together this shelter with it. I even tapped a tree with it. Got a little sap out. I drilled some holes in a tree with it and hammered in the pegs and used that to climb up when there were no low branches available. You got to do that stuff, you know, kind of at your own risk, whatever you feel brave enough doing. And this is a is a tool. You know, it can cut you, but most of us are dealing with knives and stuff like that anyway, so we already know that information. All right, here's a nice green piece. And on the holes that you're drilling when you're boring a hole in something, well, that piece can be as big as you need it. Just when the punch is involved, you know, it can only punch up to a certain size. It's not a magic stick. I mean, it kind of is. Now this one I don't want to go all the way through for what I'm making, so I'm just going to try to back that out and clean the hole out. And I did try the old-fashioned bit and brace. This is actually less effort, like physical labor, than using that bit and brace. It is still labor, but your connection is a whole lot nicer than it would be if you were using cordage. Every time, that's a piece of green wood, so it split a little better, and it peels a little better too. Once you kind of get engaged with the tool and you use it a little bit, it'll kind of change your outlook on everything as to what you can build and how to use it. I know if you really sharpened up the punch there and got it real good and sharp, I mean, I imagine you could scoop a spoon with that, or a bowl with that. A lot of people carry hook knives or curved knives or something like that. I'm sure it would do just the same. You got to think of it like, what are them kids them toys you got when you were a kid? Tinker toys. That's it. Yeah, just think about it as Tinker toys. Tinker toys for adults. This would actually be a lot of fun for kids if it wasn't, for the obvious sharp edges and things like that. But you definitely could get out in the yard with them, build a little fort or something real easy. It'd be a lot of fun. Not so obvious use, I don't know, $199. Who hadn't needed those in a time or two? See you guys.